burst of damage. It's almost like the Taric Sivir lane where you hit a few boomerangs and you just zone the guy out for the rest of the lane. If you can get that grab and buckshot early, you can completely zone that 80 lane. We do see a possible Mundo coming out here for a tanky front line because mMe doesn't have too much tank yet. They don't really have anybody to go out in front and initiate. They have Sona for the reinitiation or the fight disengage from a crescendo ultimate. They also have Kayle to kind of throw herself in there, but usually the ultimate is used on one of your teammates or yourself as you're about to die, not really an initiation spell.
See what they end up picking for this 80 carry. They waited till the last second, and this is something slightly different for Aphromo. He is a good Sivir player. They're trying to counter the Blitzcrank hooks with this a little bit. The spell shield to try to block the rocket grab from X Special. Interesting choice there by Aphromo. He needs to see if he can stay alive in these team fights. Something a little bit different. We'll see if they can take down them in the lane. Yep,
it actually looks like Dyrus will be picking for himself. We'll have to see what he chooses top lane. Everybody else going to switch up a bit. That Graves going to Chaos. X Special trading onto Reginald for that Karthus play. It's a pretty good team here. What composition does mMe bring to the table right now? They have a bit of area effect. They have a little bit of engage, but is it a poke down one person, find somebody out of place, or is this a really good team fighting composition?
This is a really low crowd control team by mMe. They're not going to have that mMe. They're not going to have much control over what TSM does. The only form of real CC they have is the Sona, as Dyrus trolls everyone else and picks the Jayce out of that. That'll be very exciting. They don't have much to slow down TSM. TSM's going to be able to run around where they want. This is a very dangerous comp for them because they're just at TSM's mercy in a lot of situations.
We saw that Jayce play coming out at Gamescom, and it was very detrimental, able to shut down that Shen. However, thwarted once again when they figured out really how to play against it. Soaz was able to do very big things on Jayce in his first matchup, but then they figured out, you know, back off. Don't play that hard against Jayce. He's got 2 abilities at level 1. It's going to hurt a little bit. So you have to be very careful in that lane, but Dyrus will be picking up Jayce. We'll have to see how they fare on that lane. Could we see a switch up of the lanes in this? Would that composition favor them?
We might see a 2v1 swap, but it's very doubtful for me. They seem to be fairly happy going up 1v1. I talked to Dyrus actually before this tournament about Jayce specifically, interestingly enough. I said, why do you think no one's been playing Jayce? And when someone does play Jayce, why do you think it gets banned out? He said, it's a very complicated champion, and not a lot of people know what it does. So it'll be interesting to see if mMe is ready to go against him, because people, if they've been paying attention to Dyrus, notice he has been practicing a lot of Jayce.
Exactly.
But they probably haven't played against it that much. He hasn't seen a huge extended amount of play. He has an insane amount of early game power. Look for Jayce to be a crazy bully in the lane. Try to get those early kills. They might try to combo in with Shyvana for some ganks. It's going to be a very action-packed lane up top.
And with a champion like that, will we see Odd1 focusing that lane if he's even on top of it to continue that pressure?
Normally, Odd1 does do a lot of job camping the lane with other junglers, but in this game specifically, as we join in, it will be fun to see whether he goes counter jungle heavy or gank heavy.
All right, guys, jumping into game 2, it's going to be very interesting to see if mMe can pull this into a third game. So let's hear what you have to say from him. If you guys want to see mMe pull this one around and bring TSM to a game 3, let's hear it for mMe.
And now let's see if we want TSM to go into the semifinals to face up against Curse Gaming. Let's hear it for Team Solo Mid.
You know, something I just realized for Team Solo Mid is team movement speed. Burnout, Jayce's Gate, as well as Overdrive from Blitzcrank. So these guys can move very quick. They can stick to you like glue, and they're going to be catching up to these fights. A little bit of movement speed coming from balls on Kayle when he throws out that heal, and Xmithy, but he's going to need his ultimate. That movement speed isn't coming for a while unless you have Muffin Cutie surrounding you with that aura.
TSM's also got the double wall. They have Jayce's move speed gate and Karthus' slow wall. So it'll be a lot of movement speed disparity between TSM. It's really just going to be them running wherever they want and just saddling in enemy. mMe has to be really careful about this game. They are roaming around a little bit early, but nothing doing. TSM doing a great job avoiding them, and we could very well see that lane swap. Jayce going down bottom, KXX Special up top with Blitz Graves.
Very good. You know, with the burst that Jayce can do after laying down the gate, throwing out his Q, that area of effect damage really clears waves as well as just does damage. If you put it in the right spot, you can get that to tick on your opponent. So he's got a lot of utility in that lane to keep himself alive. Just kind of that throw down a gate, give yourself movement speed in or out of the fight to disengage or engage. They have a lot of options here. Karthus being around the map is going to be very big for them. Reginald is known to engage the fight from mid with that Requiem for his teammates, or end the fight if he needs to.
Trying to get some good pulls here. Over for both junglers. Interesting to see if he decides to save his smite. We've seen a lot of over pulls this time. No, Dara's just going to head off into the lane. Will be a very clever 2v1s. I think the advantage here actually goes to Dyrus because he has a permanent ranged form on Jayce, whereas Kayle only gets to turn ranged form on temporarily. So getting minions should be a little bit easier for Dyrus than it is for Kayle.
Oh, chasing him down. Xpecial just really pushing out here. It looks like he does have his grab, but they did not choose to take down balls there. That could have been a lot of damage. That's 2 abilities to the 1. And it looks like he has actually grabbed, yeah, he has grabbed his Q, so he would not have been able to heal himself or get him out of that situation.
Interestingly enough, he didn't go for his range form there. Yeah, you see his Q. So only the slow. That's not good for this right now. Xpecial and Chaos are going to be able to zone top lane very, very effectively. And then again, if we take a look at red, Odd One with another successful counter jungle, taking away the red buff from Dr. Mundo.
Man, it looks like he may go top tier. They already have a ward on that. They could just come around and possibly push this minion wave into the tower. And it looks like they are going to do just that.
That was not a counter jungle. That was Odd One taking his own red buff. I am a fool.
We'll have to see here. Odd One now behind there. As I was saying, they're going to push this wave and go in. He only has that Q, and this could be a mistake by Balls. They went into the jungle thinking we need our crowd control. We're going to have a level 1 fight. We should probably get the skills. We can do that. The exhaust goes down. The grab goes in, and the first blood comes down. Going to the perfect person. Chaos will be able to grab that, and they're going to get a good amount of damage here. We've been seeing this strat a lot. They're going to bring it down to 50%, head off, and be happy with that. Or actually,
no, they're going for
this
strat of TSM aggression.
They're going to go for the super roam this game.
This is trying to force the game. Perfect dive. That's still level 1 on Balls. He got fully denied. Here's the first tower by TSM.
Jack, what do you do in that situation? Kayle is going to be able to farm a little bit now, so that somewhat helps, but now your lane, if it pushes too far out, she has no reason to be that far out there. This could be very dangerous for that top lane.
This happened to TSM at MOG Summer Arena against Azubu Blaze. They're putting this strategy onto mMe right now. They're going to roam around and fast push. There's nothing mMe can do. Balls has to sit back and farm this lane. He's so far behind that he has to be extremely cautious. Now TSM's going to be able to fast push another lane if they so choose. They could try to get 2, maybe 3 towers really before mMe's even able to fight back.
So is this at all an advantage to Xsmithy? Now he only has 2 lanes to focus. How does that play out for the jungler when you lose top so early on that opposing team?
Bottom.
Wow, Chaos going down from Aphromoo as they were able to grab that kill. Xpecial not able to stop that one from happening, could not peel them off, and it was a good boomerang to end that one off.
Special got way over aggressive there. Aphromoo and Muffin Cutie had a surprising amount of burst, and this will hold back their fast push a little quickly here. Dara's trying to roam around and get a bit of experience because that lane has essentially been over. They ended that tower very, very fast. Now it's a matter of them roaming around and finishing, but with Xpecial going down, that's not going to be able to happen nearly as quickly.
So would this be a good choice to put that support and AD carry up top? If you switch the lanes back, it's much safer to farm. Would they be able to do that at this point?
With how far up the lane is pushed right now, not necessarily. They need to kind of stick together in the lanes where they are somewhat safe. Unless that lane gets unfrozen by Balls, they need to use their extra man and roam around the rest of the map right here.
Like Balls just dragging the minions into the jungle so they do not get to the turret. Very well, there are very good mechanics there. 7.1 thousand gold to 6.2 thousand gold, so just about that 1,000 gold lead here at 5 minutes into the game. We don't see too many items really being built up. We do see that Heart of Gold trying to be built on Xsmithy. He was forced to go back a little early before having all the gold to finish it. But he'll be able to run around the jungle with a bit more health. Reginald being aggressive. He is within his minions, trying not to get hit here. Takes a cleaver, but he will be able to back off from that one safely.
Dara's struggling a lot here, trying to find a place where he can farm. That lane is permanently frozen. He's really just turned into a roaming counter jungle Jayce at this point, and they need to make something happen. Otherwise, Kayle will catch back up with that lane being frozen.
Yeah, she is really, really freezing that lane perfectly. Like I said, pulling the minions in. Now that Odd One is there with him, he's going to be a little bit more safe as he's that far up. Odd One's actually going to show himself as well. But now that mMe can see the jungler, they may be able to take advantage of that.
Global gold advantage, still 1,000 here for TSM. Bottom lane getting aggressive, he gets the pull.
Very nice job of mMe taking a little bit of damage there. The damage trade, however, always in favor. Once again, Kayle pumping those potions through. Xmithie getting caught out. It's going to be the exhaust down. Ignite onto Dyrus. The cleaver just misses, and they're able to take down Xmithie. Dyrus changing forms to grab some movement speed, and the odd one is going to force out Balls here. If Balls can get a heal onto himself, he may be able to outrun that burnout as it wears off, but I don't think he's going to. He goes for the Q slow. Can he heal himself? And he doesn't have to, actually. It just comes off of cooldown, but he makes it out alive. No mana, no HP.
Mid lane pressure really coming in from that Reginald hitting level 6, popping off that Requiem, and just changing the outcome of fights around the map. 2 kills to 1 now. TSM, the lane is shoving out on Balls, so he can no longer free farm with the deny. That'll give Dyrus a bit of chance to farm on Jayce, and this is TSM starting to take control.
Every lane's so aggressive right now. There aren't a lot of kills, but every time a kill is happening, another lane is going aggressive. They're trying to play off what's happening in each lane, knowing that people aren't going to be there. The upper hand can be had. Firing back and forth, getting that Q. That buckshot rather, Aphromoo just waiting the spell shield for the blitz grab. He really doesn't want to do anything with his spell shield until that comes out. You can see bouncing around his boomerang, just getting a little bit of farm on, as well as pushing his lane. Continuously getting shots off, trying to bait out the spell shield grab actually on Xpecial, and they both know it, so really no aggression there.
Really, Aphromoo just daring Xpecial to try to get aggressive on him, and he's not taking the bait. They're going to turn around that aggression if Aphromoo decides to continue to play like that, because they're very far up. And here comes Odd One running through a ward. See if they can close in on him.
Very nice job there, and they get the knock up. The exhaust will keep it in range for the Odd One, and the spell shield's not going to matter if they get close. The flame goes out, but they're not able to get the damage on, and he actually splits the defense with the grab. They can turn this around, but mana barrier comes up. He has half a mana bar, so it's going to be a pretty good shield. Crescendo for the kill. A very nice job as he throws off his ultimate. Maybe a double kill, and he comes up with the flash secure on the kill.
There's the MVP highlight play by mMe and Aphromoo taking down a 2v3, turning that completely around, showing how strong the Sivir Sona is. And this is the carry that they need to try to get from Aphromoo. 3-0, trying to take it to Kayle, killing him 2 times more than they did last game already. And they're taking a tower back for themselves.
You know, both of these teams have amazing movement speed. I didn't even mention Aphromoo's ultimate before. If you run into that aura, you're going to have it even if you leave the aura for the amount of time. It's not like it just hits you and you run out of it. So these guys can really utilize that, especially if Mundo hits it. It feels like chasing somebody off. The Dyrus taking a bit of damage here. A beautiful job. Balls actually now dominating the lane. Dyrus may be re-guessing his choice here as he's forced to stay back and really just farm after changing forms.
At the end of the day, it may have been a mistake for TSM to take down that tower so early. They would have had a level 1 Kayle returning to the lane without an ability to farm, but because they took the tower, they gave him the opportunity to farm up. Taking that tower and not converting it into any other advantages was the mistake for TSM, and here comes a gank. Dyrus going on to Kayle.
Yeah, he's going to be coming up hard. Out of the side comes the Odd One, but a lot of damage going on to Dyrus. The ultimate is up. The intervention goes down. It won't be enough, but it looks like both will fall here. Dyrus just saving himself. Dyrus getting out with 6 HP, and it's going to be Balls going down in the fray. Can he get the killing shot? He doesn't even turn around for the attack. A beautiful job by General Odd One, setting the pace for this match.
Dyrus getting away with a sliver of health. You could see how strong Kayle was going into that gank, nearly killing Dyrus and getting out, but something like that is going to set him back, and here comes the counter jungle harassment by TSM, getting that ward on the blue buff.
Oh, they put the ward down. I bet you if Odd One put it a little bit further and saw that HP on Xmithie, he would have gone back down.
Look at Reginald mid.
Oh, wow. Reginald diving between the turrets. Mandatory Cloud into that pool, will not be able to be hit, and it looks like he makes it out just in time. Is Requiem up? It is, and he has blue buff. Just may not feel confident about getting that kill.
Wouldn't do enough damage. He has the math. He's played enough games before. The 300 health would not have finished him off. Either way, a lot of pressure getting applied there mid lane by Reginald.
Oh, great grab down bottom. Special pose. mMe over the wall, but Kayle was not there for it. They went to both place a ward, and he was able to just snatch him out of that situation. We see him going down on Balls. Balls gets taken down as he finds himself back inside the jungle. TSM roaming in pairs now. The power and numbers to come out on top, and this is what Dyrus really needs. With that lane being pushed, he needs to start picking up these assists. That's what I thought we were going to see coming off of that turret attack, but he's really just been forced to get the jungle. Good chase here on bottom lane. Aphromoo doing great damage with just basic auto attacks.
Surprising that mMe went for that blue buff by themselves. They should have seen the ward getting placed down by TSM and known that they had vision over that. It's really going to be on Aphromoo to try to take this game over. He has the 3 kills. He has to carry because the other members of his team are not having the best games.
As you see bottom lane kind of returning, Chaos feeling comfortable to get himself in that lane. A little bit low on health as Aphromoo is topped off from the sustain of Muffin Cutie. These guys really playing very well, as we said, over the bolstered duo competition from Xpecial and Chaos. And here's what I thought we'd see Dyrus doing, being in every such lane, now possibly going for the dragon here if they have enough control. Reginald, I believe, trying to push out that mandatory cloud in mid. Only a little bit of damage, but it looks like they may force this one. See what they do to the chat. From each side, it looks like they may be able to get this. Yep. Uncontested dragon going down at about 12 minutes and 5 seconds. We're going to see that at 18:03 actually to come back up. But again, power in numbers. TSM is not leaving the side of each other. A beautiful slow wall. It's going to be the length of where she was running. They're going to be able to slow down this. Odd One comes in to tank the turret for his team. Very nice play style. Oh, they turn it around. Great job. Beautiful hit there coming out of the hands of Xpecial as he turned around to get a kill, utilizing that Blitzcrank.
They knew that Aphromoo and Muffin Cutie were the members they needed to attack. So what do? They send 5 members down bottom, use their double wall, and just take them both out. They're going to shut them down because they're the only 2 that are ahead. mMe's trying to split push these lanes. They might get a tower, maybe 2 out of it. Let's see if that move backfires for TSM. I really like it, though, taking down Aphromoo and trying to keep him down.
Yeah, it's something that is very big right now. Sivir's going to be a huge factor in this late game, doing area of effect damage herself. And we see Xmithy catching Chaos. No turret there. Burning Agony is on, and he has all the time to slow. Chaos will definitely go down in this matchup. Will he be able to get a few shots down? He definitely has all those minions to help him, but it's not going to be enough. The last infected briefcase, if you will, taking down Chaos for that kill. 26 seconds for him. Mandatory Cloud with the ultimate on. Hemo Plague hits, but it's not enough. Yes, it is, as he gets the last tides of blood down with the Ignite to continue ticking. He says, no reason for me to use my Requiem. I'm going to go down here.
Flurry of action there coming back and forth, and that was good stuff by mMe trying to just win on these fights. TSM got to stick together and need General Odd One to just move around the map and create for them because they're getting picked off a little bit one-on-one.
See Kayle returning to top now. Let's take a look at some of these item builds. The APs in mid, both going for items that are going to help them stay in mid. That Catalyst, the Protector, going to be able to give Reginald the health and mana every time he levels. Vladimir going for that AP synergy with his health. And when he has more AP, he has more HP, and vice versa. So he goes for that Revolver Quick as well for the Spell Vamp.
Looking there, that's a fairly standard Vladimir build. Sometimes they go for a Dorn Shield if they need to worry about the physical damage coming through, but really Mandatory Cloud not being harassed whatsoever since he's mid lane, and all Reginald is interested in doing is farming. Back-to-back, that's really not a matchup that's done much for Reginald. He's picked up most of his kills globally in team fights, and then ended up getting soloed by ManCloud, so a lot of back and forth in that lane.
You can see Dyrus now trying to get himself back up. He's about 2 minion waves behind. It is going to be 87-68 in that matchup for the minion score. We'll have to see if he can get himself back in. He is kind of piecing his items together. He did go for 2 Dorans, but a little bit of sustain in lane from that HP. Looks like he's going to be finishing something next here, possibly that Phage, to stick to his opponents and continuously do the damage. If you can keep Jayce switching forms and in that movement speed, you can really wreak some havoc.
Looking a little bit down the item builds, we see a Spirit Massage already coming in on Xmithy. That's a little surprising. A lot of Mundos you see will get that quick Warmog's armor. You'd think that the SV is the best item for him, but really the Warmog's does give him more health regen. So might have got it for the early cooldown reduction or the early magic resist, but rushing that item may not have been the best choice.
We'll have to see how that affects him. We're right, being able to kind of give that to himself, the Warmogs would actually attribute to his team a lot more, being able to help them, being able to be that tanky front line that they need. We kind of said this really isn't a very hardcore crowd control composition. He gets caught out. Dyrus, they are going to have the movement speed to get him, and they are for sure going to take him down here. Beautiful job by Xmithy to camp top lane. Ball's really able to come back in this matchup due to what they're doing for him.
mMe doing a good job picking up a round. If they avoid the bad team fights against TSM, they will come back in this. Ever since that decimating team fight around Dragon that TSM picked up, mMe's been soloing a few people, they keep getting the picks, and TSM has picked up a bit of sloppy play. Ball's really just bullying in, taking multiple tower shots up top, and mMe trying to turn on the aggression here. 5 members roaming up towards top. We could see a dive.
They are going to move this one. 3 members from mMe moving up here. Monomaniac looking to make something happen again. They have 4 members to the 2 of TSM as they start to back off. They don't even have wards there. They just said, we don't see anybody else on the map. This is a really bad position to be in.
KX also in the bottom lane, taking the tower for the trade. That's really not going to be a huge advantage for either member. The question will come in here when mMe tries to push this next one and whether TSM's able to hold it off with 3, maybe 4 members.
They are going to have a tower for that, but they are going to be losing the resources in their jungle as well. mMe did not have this advantage last game. They may have entered TSM's jungle maybe once or twice. Now they're actually stealing away the creeps, making sure that they are denying experience, and we're going to see how that plays into it. They're getting good map control off of taking that top tower. They have all the middle towers taken out. mMe still holds their mid.
Before KX took down that bottom tower, we actually had absolutely identical gold from either team. So mMe sticking with TSM yet again. TSM had that aggressive playstyle right at the start, getting the first blood and taking down the towers, but mMe's bouncing back. They're sticking into this. They need to stand up to the pressure and not collapse in the next team fight.
Yeah, we saw this happening last game, 9-9, 10-10, 40,000 to 40,000 gold. Now it's a little bit less, just 6-6 and 23,000, but it really looks like even though they are neck and neck, mMe definitely has a bit of an advantage here with the way they've been playing, the way they're orchestrating themselves in team fights, and using the composition. It's actually working out for them very well.
Coming in the next team fight, KX has the Bloodthirster. That's his standard item for Graves because he likes the resiliency he gets from the lifesteal, but Aphromoo is doing a lot more damage. He has picked up an Infinity Edge and that Brawler's Glove on top of it, so when they do brawl, if Aphromoo gets to be not exhausted or not zoned out, he'll be great. The problem with that is TSM knows exactly what Aphromoo wants to do, and they brought 3 exhausts. Odd One has exhaust, Reggie has exhaust, and X Special has exhaust. So he's not going to be hitting for very long. They're going to take him out in team fights almost no matter how fed he gets, just spamming exhaust on him.
Looks like we're going to have an uncontested dragon here as they smite it away. TSM picks up another one. That's going to be 24-17 for your next dragon. So we'll see the teams moving for that situation. They realize they just lost another uncontested dragon. They're going to have to be very careful now about their positioning. There is no objective on the bottom of the map to grab. It's really all about that Baron. It's still a little too early for both of these teams to go in. They're going to want to ward it right now and kind of dance it off, but I don't think we're going to have a true go for the Baron yet.
Definitely not. We see mMe did give up that dragon, unfortunately, and TSM is just waiting for that right team fight. mMe's a little gun-shy. They don't have a lot of crowd control. This is why their team fighting's so weak. They just kind of get walked over by TSM when they come in. They're very fast themselves, but that's not going to help them when Aphromoo trying to run away from a giant dragon chasing him down in Shyvana. They're trying to force on a Baron. This could be a bit of a desperation play. They want to try to make something happen fast. I think TSM's on to it.
Smithy taking so much damage. This is really going to be bad for them if they continue to go through this fight. They are going to have to stop that. Smithy now at half health, having to pop his ultimate there, and they are still going to move in here, looking to clear the wards on the backside for possibly another attempt in the next few minutes. Blue has just come up for TSM, and Reginald's going to be out of the fight for a while as he grabs that blue buff. So this focus towards top lane, a great ward down there for themselves. They're able to focus that. Chaos down bottom as well as Reginald. They know they're not going for Baron. They saw how much damage he was taking. They're playing this one very smart.
Able to hold off with 3 members fairly easily. The wave clear from Jayce's Shock Blast plus Acceleration Gate, the E-Q combo is really, really high. He's scouting those brushes. They know they held him back. They're getting a lot of free farm out onto Reginald and Graves, so both of those members are going to be very, very farm coming in the next team fight. And really, mMe trying to put a lot of pressure around Baron here. They're thinking they don't really have any other choice. They're trying to force TSM to run to them for team fights because they don't have a good way of initiating themselves other than just slowly running at them and trying to slow them down with Sona.
I think for mMe to do this effectively, Jat, they need more wards. If it's just going to be TSM coming out of the fog of war, you're going to get wall after speed movement, and you're just going to get locked down on. It's not going to be good for your team. Odd One is going to jump in there out of the fog of war, and it's going to start bad for them. So they need some more wards. We do see a few people going back. We'll see what they get under their belt here, and it is going to be the jungler Smithy and your support Muffin Cutie picking up an amount of 4 wards between themselves. So that's going to be very good for them as they move back up. They need to get those wards on the map. They have the bottom of the map covered, but as I said before, there's no objective there, so the focus is definitely going to be at the top half.
I have to say, overall, TSM definitely looks a little bit off their game here. I was expecting decisive victories from them, and it's either mMe stepping it up and being great, or TSM playing a little bit off. The aggression just doesn't seem to be there. 6 kills to 6, only 21 minutes in. They're just not coming together for their decisive moves like we usually see.
They're taking a lot of poke here. Reginald almost down to half health before they get to the turret. Like Special looking for that grab. You can always see Blitzcrank out in the front. That shock blast through the acceleration gate. Not really having effect on the opponents. We're going to see them clearing their jungle as these waves push in. not too much focus on one area for mMe. They're kind of milling about here, saying there may be a dragon. We're trying to catch one of you out. But they really need to do something definitive here. Like you said, play like they have nothing to lose. They're coming into this one, and they may be going home, so they really got to pull out all the stops here.
Still rolling around Baron, trying to control this area. Normally when teams do this, though, they actually have big advantages, or they're trying to force something like a big team fight. The problem with mMe is I don't think they'd win that big team fight, and I definitely don't think they have a big advantage. So the strategy they're searching for may be the wrong one here, because they're just going into Baron Pit over and over again and trying to control this.
At 22 minutes into the game now, at a 6-6. Once again, neck and neck, as we have actually have not seen many kills after those 6 came quite quick for each team. 28,000, almost 29,000 gold to 30,000. So about that 1,000 gold difference still stands between these teams. The next fight will definitely tell us a lot of what's going to happen in the late game, Jap. We're going to see if they can continue to push through on this. The cleaver's just missing each time. The movement speed out. They go for Shyvana, forcing the flash, but the summoner spell is reversing the ultimate rather, but the summoner spell exhaust is down. They put it onto Xmithie. Can the grab go over? The focus is down, and a beautiful collateral damage coming from Chaos. They will start to clean up one for one. The odd one taking it out as the Requiem comes down, able to drop down that mandatory cloud, forcing mMe out of this fight. And like I said, they didn't place the wards they needed to. They're all over the map where they don't need them right now. And actually, the odd one, they did place the wards. The odd one just cleaned them up before the fight happened, so they really gave themselves the advantage in their own jungle.
mMe just has no way of initiating fights properly. They tried to sloppily run in through the jungle on TSM, and they just expended themselves too much, got too spread out, and then Reginald flashed into their entire team, split them up, and died in a perfect spot. 3-for-1 team fight for TSM, and that will keep happening unless mMe finds some creative way of initiating, because all they really have is that Sona ultimate, and unless TSM lines up just right, the kill comes down again. The team fights won't be good.
That's very big for them. Chaos took a lot of damage, and it kind of threw off Kayle there. We saw Ball step a little too far out, and a great just set a piece of mind there by Special to get that grab. They are going to be going back. This team doing very well right now. Your gold leader for the game is going to be Chaos right now at 8,000 gold. His closest is actually Reginald at 7,700.
Seeing as the item builds get built up here, Chaos now has the Phantom Dancer, so he's picking up the items, picks up the green elixir as well. He's going to be quite strong for the next fight. TSM showing their team fight supremacy and coordination in almost all these games. Their overall gameplay is a little off, but those instincts when team fights really matter, the second-to-second decisions are top-notch for TSM, and that's really where they're differentiating themselves in these games.
As an AD carry in the game, you're always farming, you're always focusing that. What does Chaos do now? He buys a Bloodthirster, and he wants to farm that out, but there's nothing to do. What do you give to AD carries at that point? Do you just let them have the jungle?
You let them get as much farm as they possibly can get. Him and Reginald will get all of the farm if it's available, and there's a choice between the two. Overall for TSM, they are one of the best teams at protecting the AD carry. They will get everyone super low and allow him to clean up. You just look at Reginald, he is the absolute playmaker. You saw that last fight. He got everyone super low with the Defile and then just let the rest of the team come in later and clean up. It's really just a setup for the last hits of Chaos, is the entire TSM strategy.
And Reginald coming out very strong now. He definitely is about to finish that Rabadon's death cap quite soon. He has both in hand. He needs about 100 more gold, or 200 more gold to finish that off. And as you said, Chaos picking up those big completed items for his core build, the Phantom Dancer and the Bloodthirst. So the Bloodthirsts are actually completely full already. That's going to be huge for them. Kayle trying to finish an Infinity Edge as well. They just don't have the damage they need right now. Sivir is going to be huge for them, as well as Mundo. If he can stay in front of Aphromoo in this next fight with her ultimate on, they are going to be able to do huge damage, but they got to make sure they're not in range of Reginald.
I just love the TSM strategy here. They know the majority damage is coming out of Aphromoo, and they did bring the 3 exhausts, so almost no matter how much damage he gets building, unless he can get rid of those cleanses with the QSS, and even though it's only going to get rid of 1, he won't be a big factor in team fights, and it's going to allow TSM to just crush down on them. Very, very difficult for mMe to do much, because Vladimir and Kayle really have to be the threats, since they're able to shut down Aphromoo so easily.
Now a lot of focus is for this Baron. Both teams definitely have what it takes to go at it. 25 minutes into the game here, the AD carries pretty much neck and neck, but there will be a bit more burst from Sivir. She's going to be able to throw out those boomerang, and it will hurt. She gets to you where the basic attacks, and with her ultimate on, she is going to be able to shred you down. That is what they're looking for. That's what you were just saying, Jat. All those exhausts are for Aphromoo.
Still the Trinity Force going to be coming onto Darius. They don't quite have it yet. Now the tables have turned. TSM is the one zoning out Baron. They have the Oracle's Elixir. They're the ones clearing out wards. And mMe is going to have no choice but to look in there. The fact that they don't have crowd control as the Blitz, so just misses the pool. They can go or peel whenever they want. As soon as that Karthus wall lands on enough people, Reginald and the rest of TSM are going to fly in.
That's quite a high cooldown, but Mandatory Cloud will be able to get it back, only chunking a little bit of his own health for using it. Definitely better than dodging the Blitz. They're going to have the initiation. The acceleration gate goes out. It's going to be the focus for Kayle, but Sivir's just on the backside. The exhaust, as you said, on the Aframu. They're focusing down Darius. He may get out once again. The ignite was on him, but nobody taken down. Reginald quickly the first focus, but he will not be dead yet in his undead form. The ultimate goes down. He gets a double kill on it. Aframu picking up one as well as they trade back and forth 2-2. And it looks like it's going to be a chase out of the fight. Here's where the movement speed comes into play. Almost catching Mandatory Cloud with that burst. And they are going to get out by the skin of their teeth here. 3 members running down. Will they choose to initiate on this? They have put wards down to keep themselves safe in the recall. That was just an all-out fight. Nobody really had the advantage. It was in the open. There was no fog of war. And really, we saw teams trade evenly.
Aframu took 2 exhausts to the face there. But the big thing that allowed mMe to stay in that team fight is actually the support play by Muffin Cutie. He took 2 members of TSM and distracted them from the fight, taking them out of it for long enough for the exhaust to wear off on Aframu. Then Aframu was able to deal damage and trade off in that fight. So really, that was good execution by mMe. TSM had the advantage in that team fight. They just didn't execute like they have been so well this game.
Yeah, they were really able to get in there, and as we saw, you know, a few games ago, those Corgis sitting on the outside, just able to do so much damage. They left Aframu to do that, so they got to be careful in this next fight. Again, they're gathering once again towards that Baron area. The wards are all down, and you can see how much more vision the mMe has given themselves. They have 4 wards around Baron.
Real careful here.
The acceleration gate. It will be Darius, possibly the first one in. Kayle is showing himself as well, putting themselves in and out of the bush. Mandatory Cloud taking a little too much damage. Goes into the pool in vulnerability. Oh, the shot just missing. The ignite goes down, but he does get it. Vladimir goes down, and that is going to be a big AoE taken out of their composition there as they go for the Baron. They are going to turn on this, possibly getting it. That overdrive through the gate allows them to get through very quickly. It's a Shirelius. Anywhere you want it, the Baron will go down quite soon. Nashor is now TSM. They pull in Xmithy. Xmithy is dropped down in seconds, melted by the damage coming from Reginald and Chaos. Now they have control of the map. They are in the driver's seat once again definitively and have taken an 8,000 gold lead.
That was mMe's panic play a little bit. They had a close team fight beforehand, realized how well it went for them, and said, we have to make something happen. The default panic play for most teams is just run to Baron. TSM was absolutely ready for that, and now they chase down, continuing the assault on mMe.
And there it is, going for the 3-shot, changing forms and just going in hard. Darius quickly takes it down with the help of Reginald. Odd One getting in there himself as well in the Shyvana ultimate, and it looks like they will be able to drop this inhibitor. They do have a big minion wave behind them, but they're more than happy right now to back up and start denying experience in the jungle. They're going to start taking up everything they can, continuously farm Reginald and Chaos, as we said before. Now TSM in a very comfortable position. mMe, this is the point they need to pull out all the stops. We are cresting that 30-minute mark in the game. It was a lot closer last time, but it just seems like TSM just gets too strong and understands team fights a little bit better.
They got the Baron buff now, they have the inhibitor down. It's really a matter of TSM going back, getting their items, and then slow pushing the rest of this game. mMe cannot handle TSM, especially when they have the Baron buff right now. So it's just about TSM sticking together, not making any silly mistakes, and then closing out this game. They're going to be pushing bot or top tower next. They need to get those mid towers and the inhibitor towers down, and they're really just going to continue to press these advantages. They have the aura items in the bag now. They have the Baron buff on them. They're real strong right now, and mMe has to be on a huge defensive.
Yeah, just the core items, as you were saying, having that Starks on your champion, Zeke's Herald, the health, but they're going to get that attack speed, and they're going to get that lifesteal, which is huge. Chaos already has a full Bloodthirster, so he's going to be able to use that on top of it and just continue to sustain himself. Red buff on him as well. Reginald's wall, they can slow. They're going to be able to grab these objectives whenever they want now. They are controlling the map. This is not good for mMe. What is their objective right now to do, other than turtling this match out until Baron is on?
They just need to hold as long as they can and not die. They can give up some towers, but if they die, the game will end. They will not be able to defend their Nexus turrets. Holding at the double turrets and holding an inhibitor towers is doable if they have 5 members. But if they die trying to hold one of these outer turrets, the game will essentially be over. And that's why we see them backing up right now and essentially completely conceding this outer tower to TSM.
We actually look at some of these lanes and the jungle. Like Smithy level 13 to Chaos's level 16. An 80 carry will tear right through that. Kayle only 14. She did have that lane to farm in, but the shutdown just in that beginning of the game definitely hurt her levels. Reginald is 17, the highest in the game right now with Afromu. These two are dealing so much damage, and they're actually really nobody, not people that see each other in the fight. So that damage isn't going to be traded between them. It's going to be to your lower level champions.
Taking a lot of damage onto that tower. That was half of its health in just the first wave. mMe has to do a better job defending that because essentially when they lose the second inhibitor, they lose the game.
There it is, the bottom turret goes down. They now have 2 open. Mandatory Cloud walking into the fight. Could go for the pool after this to try to confuse. He tries to get Hemo Plague down. He does. Can they get the damage out? Looks like Reginald will be shut down. Mandatory Cloud falls in the 1-for-1, or the 2-for-0 rather. And we are going to see that they take down Reginald finally. It's just going to be too much pressure. It looks like TSM may be able to throw this one onto the Nexus turrets as well. The overdrive goes on. The attacks from both Xpecial. The entire team now onto the Nexus. And it looks like TSM will finally pull this one out in their favor. Moving on in the tournament. It looks like mMe Ferris playing very good games, but not being able to come out on top. Thwarted in this tournament.